Hello and welcome to Podium with Hannah England, Rich Newman and myself, Katie Smith. And this is our big UK Championships review as Hannah England does a massive sneeze.
I was on mute. Come on. I even managed to mute. Yeah.
Oh, I was waiting for the noise.
Pro.
I mean, what a chaotic start, which is perfect for what a weekend we've seen. I actually thought we, between the three of us, covered it in an efficient but chaotic way as well in Birmingham, because Hannah, you started Saturday in the stadium and then by Sunday you're at home. I started Saturday at home and then by Sunday was in the stadium. And well, Rich, you basically spent the entire time interviewing athletes while Hannah and I just moved around you, right?
Yeah, and then the best thing about it is that we were all in Birmingham at some point, and here we are back on Monday morning, early in the morning, having had little sleep doing this remotely, which is just ridiculous, really. But that's the situation when it comes to where we all are based in the UK, isn't it? Childcare and all that kind of stuff as well.
Yeah, because how did it go for you then, Hannah? Because priority was making sure your husband could go and be with his athletes. You run childcare duties, which we've now realised doesn't work with trying to do a podcast.
No. I kind of assumed Nancy wasn't track compatible, but now I really know. She's like, she just screeched. The moment it went silent, she's like, Nancy's go, like at the track, and everyone's just glaring at me like she's going to cause a false start. But it went epic. Like, Luke had a fantastic weekend with his athletes, and it was just the best thing. I was gutted not to be there in person on Sunday and like see it happening for him. But yeah, it was the only. I had to say to keep Nancy out of the equation and let him focus. It's fine.
Hannah, I think it's important. I think a lot of people don't know who your husband is and who he trains. I don't think we've talked about it that much on the podcast.
Well, we can big up Luke Gunn, my husband. He's 4-time steeplechase champion, British champion, and he's now a coach at the University of Birmingham. And he got third and fourth in the women's 800, which was epic. Abby Ives, Izzy Boffey, third in the men's steeplechase and Mark Pearce, and then Sarah Calvert only went and bloody won the thing.
Yeah.
She won the 1500, like massive move down the outside. She's had a wonderful 3 weeks. Medal at World Unis and then doing that. So I'm very, very proud of Luke. And he's straight off to the European Under-20s this morning on the team staff as well.
Is he?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So big few weeks for him, which is epic.
And did you enjoy it, Rich? Because you were very much on athlete interview duty. So from where you are positioned, I don't know if people necessarily know this, but you actually can't see like that much of the action, can you? But you're chatting to them afterwards.
Yeah, so the mixed zone is something you might hear a lot of people talk about, but I'm always conscious that people outside of our industry don't know what that is. Whether you're in the media or you're an athlete, you do know what it is, but people in the crowd, I guess they don't. So it's a little section off of the home straight. You come straight off and you have to go through this mix zone. You don't necessarily have to stop, but you have to go through it. And it's this sort of it's just basically an area where you can sort of grab the athletes and speak to them on their way through. So that's where I was based. You can actually every now and again go and see what's going on the track, and there's a screen there as well, so you can keep on top of it. But Sunday's action was back-to-back finals. So when you get towards sort of the back end of it, there's just no way, because you've got lots of different events finishing around the same time, people coming in around the same time, lots of athletes from different disciplines all mixing in the mix zone around the same time. So it's just a bit tricky to keep track of everything, but you try your best. It's good fun.
Yeah, it's busy, isn't it? I saw you at the end and you just looked a bit frazzled because you'd just been stood up for like 8 hours as well. Whereas I was sat comfortably in the commentary positions up on high doing commentary for 5 Live, which was all really exciting. I think my standout race was the women's 200 metres. So we're going to probably start with the sprints. But just to make you aware, if you're listening along to this is our UK Champs review. So we're going to go into all the obviously big performances, who's booked their spot on the plane to Tokyo, but we can't really do it in isolation, can we? Because there was so much else going on across the world, national championships, and in particular some outrageous, inexplicable things going on in Eugene at the US trials. So I think what we're all going to try and do is weave in some of those results as we talk about what happened in Birmingham, so that we can keep on a sort of a plane of each event and try and talk about how they might affect each other. So famous last words. Let's see how we go. Let's start with the women's 200 metres. wow, what a finish first. So we had 3 women, Hannah, going into this with the qualifying standard. Dawanita, who'd been DQ'd in the women's 100 the day before, so a bit of a point to prove. Dina Asher-Smith, who held the championship record, and then Amy Hunt, who is just in such sublime form at the moment. And it was right on the line. And Dina Asher-Smith was just not letting go yesterday, was she?
Well, it was like London Diamond League when they both came around the bend together, and then Dina found something else, and he thought, oh, that's happening again. And then Amy found something else with 30 metres to go, and then Dina had to go again. And it was great to watch. And Dawanita looked fantastic in the semis of the 100. And then I thought, oh, she could be the one that might win this 200 to make up for the DQ in the final of the 100. But no, it was a fabulous race, and it was great to see.
What I couldn't quite work out, Rich, as well, and I have to caveat this with, I don't know if you saw the start, but whether Dina's start was, we know she's got an amazing start, whether it was just phenomenally good or whether Amy Hunt's start was not great as well, because it looked like Asher-Smith was alongside her within, 3 strides.
It's something that Amy Hunt's worked a lot on as well, isn't it, at the start over recently, and that's why she's made such improvements. She had a decent indoor season as well. Also, bear in mind the fact that Amy Hunt had gone through all the rounds in the 100 and the 200, whereas
that's
Dina
a really good point. I forgot that. Yeah,
Dina didn't have to run the 100, so she skipped it. So that's another factor. So she just held off Amy Hunt, yes, but Dina was a lot fresher than Amy, she'd already won the 100 the day before.
22.14 as well, given exactly the same time, so obviously separated by thousands. I was having a look at the US results, and we'll go into that again in a little bit more detail in just a sec, but I think that would have placed Dina 3rd or 4th. I'm doubting myself. In the US.
Okay, yeah. But I mean,
ahead of Gabby Thomas, though, who was a little further down the field.
How much time do you think that that fatigue plays there in terms of that finish then for Amy Hunt?
I think that is. I can't believe I didn't. That's how chaotic my weekend was. That I didn't appreciate that. I think that's a really good point, Rich. Amy wouldn't have had to do 3 rounds of the 100, just 2 in Britain for the top ranked athletes. But then to run 2 200s as well. I think that is significant. You are a little bit fried if you've done 2 races the day before, for sure.
Yeah, well, with Dina, she because she was the fastest 100-meter runner, so she didn't have to do it. And as she mentioned to us in the mix zone, let's play the first of the interviews, shall we? Because we're going to be playing you some of the best bits that we got from throughout the weekend. So Dina has changed her training a little bit this year, mixed it up a bit, and this is what she had to say after winning that 200-meter title.
I always kind of do one event at the trials. I like to have as smooth sailing process through this as possible, and so I tend to only pick one event, so I was always doing the 2, and it was good. I had fun, and it's nice to be in this amazing stadium in Birmingham, because I didn't get to do the Com Games, so it's nice to run here, and
Yeah, competing in front of the home crowd is always special, isn't it?
It's always really special.
Commonwealth Games next year as well in Glasgow.
Mate, I only found that out really recently. So we got emailed about it last week, but our registration process as athletes, even if we get selected or not, it starts quite far out, because we have long lists and kits and this and that and all of those details. So we got the emails for Glasgow last week, and it came into my inbox, and I was like, Glasgow? I thought it was Australia. And so I was like, did they mail merge from 2014? Yeah, found out last week.
It has been a bit of a mess, a little bit complicated, to be honest.
No, not a mess, but it's also...
in terms of them moving the games around. So,
my bubble is so non-sporting. I have lots of fashion, lots of art and stuff in my day-to-day. So, mate, anything could happen, I wouldn't know. Yeah. So I was looking at my emails, I was like, I messaged Morgan and Jazz, they were like, yeah, it's Glasgow. I was like, good to know.
Yeah. In terms of your training, you've had a very different season, throwing in all these 400s.
Definitely.
What has those really starting to show now?
Thank you. Yeah, at the end of the day, it's all about timing, and the timing for me is always Tokyo. So I was very happy to run a really fast 100 ages ago and be in a smooth place, and I was happy to be putting both my speed and my strength and all my race prep together to put together some great 200s. So ultimately, I'm just really happy to be in a great place. To be fair, I was kind of disappointed with 22-1 today, which is a great place to be in as well. but that just means that I'm going to go away, work hard on some stuff, and come back better next time. But yeah.
And last one for me, because you've got lots of demands on your time. But Tokyo, look, a bit of a redemption story potentially for you, right? Do you not look at that? Do you try and not?
Absolutely not. The past is the past. Okay. Every single time I stand the line, it's a fresh slate, and whether that's good or bad. Because I think even if you're how many time world, European, whatever champion, every time you stand the line, you have to run like it. So I don't like to carry anything good or bad that's happened before to come with me. So when I stand the line in Tokyo, it's just me trying to put together the greatest performance that I have within me on that day. But I always start with a fresh slate. That is how I've always been as an athlete, because you've always just, every performance is a new one, you know?
Yeah, we deserve a lot there, so I hope it goes well.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thanks a lot. Cheers, Dina.
Wasn't the smoothest, but that would do.
That's fine.
No, that's perfect. Shall I pick off the bag?
Yeah, I think if you pick up and go into Amy, that makes sense.
Yes.
Yeah.
What does she end saying?
So she
Dina?
talks about being disappointed with 22-1.
She wasn't happy with the time, yeah.
Yeah, and she always says, like, she doesn't think about Tokyo.
Yes, that's the thing. Yeah,
yeah.
I don't believe that. So I can call bullshit on that. Fine.
So actually, loads of cool things to pick out there. Number one, the fact that she had absolutely no idea that the Commonwealth Games were going on.
Yeah, it has been chaotic. I tried to sort of tell her that in the mix zone, but she kind of wasn't having it. But because it has jumped around, you know, it could be easy to miss, I guess.
That really made me laugh. Also disappointed with the 22.14, which I hope really shows, like she said, what kind of form she's in. But then talks about not thinking about Tokyo and the Olympics in 2021 when she went in injured and didn't make the 100 final. I don't know. What do we think?
I don't believe it, personally.
I do. I think you've got to put stuff in a box. I think.
But some people haven't done that. Some people look at it completely differently. I mean, I guess it all depends on athlete mentality and just people's personalities, but we're going to hear a little bit later from Molly Caudery, who does look at this as like a redemption year because of the devastation she had in Paris last year. I just think
everyone's different. It's either
of course
motivates you. So like Jeremiah Azu talked about the false start last year in Paris, and that drove him all winter. That's all he was thinking about all winter. Whereas, I mean, you can start doing that, and if you realise it's taking you to a super negative place, then you stop doing that.
He did a very good job of almost false starting about 8 times next week.
I mean, everyone did in that men's. There was like 5 of them in the. They were like, okay, we'll just give everyone a green card. Like we can't disqualify 5.
We'll come to that in a minute because I think we're going to because we'll talk about Darren Nater, and I think she got a bit unlucky in terms of consistency in those DQs, didn't she?
Well, yeah, totally true. Should we talk about the women's 100 then, or any final thoughts on Dina?
Yeah, no. My final thought on Dina Asher-Smith is that I think she's very good at building towards a championship, and we're seeing this progression. I don't know about you guys, but 200 is where she's got a chance to get a medal. Obviously, this is traditionally her stronger event anyway, and I just feel that there's been a real assault on the 200 meters this year because of those 400s that she's been running.
No, I think you're totally right. I think Julian Alfred put her away in London, so I'm not sure she can get on terms with Julian Alfred. But you look at Gabby Thomas only made the team by thousandths in that women's the US 200 meters. She got in by thousandths and then said she's had an Achilles injury. So that's the Olympic champion admitting she's got an issue. So I think that kind of neutralises her a little bit. But of course, we know Melissa Jefferson-Wooden is flying. So I think you're right, Rich. I think it's her best shout for a medal. But with the timetable always at a major champ, she can do both and ease into it.
Yeah, and she went sub 22, Jefferson-Wooden, in the 200 metres, then wins the 100. She wins 100 first. 10.65 world lead.
I want to say I said that in our preview. I said Melissa Jefferson-Wooden to win. I think I said 10.69. So just call me Zarnell Hughes. I didn't write it down.
You just manifest these things. But there were some other quotes I clipped out from our preview where you were just so far off the mark. I won't lie, there were a couple of people that came up to me in Birmingham, Hannah, who said, I know Hannah says the whole selection thing is really, really simple, but I listened to her explanation, and at the end, I think I understood it less.
Oh dear. I'm like, yeah, but then this could happen.
Yeah, and I think their point was you made it sound really simple, but there's just so many sort of caveats.
Oh, can I just give kudos to Hannah on one thing though, because
go ahead, be my guest. Yeah,
no, because Hannah, I think your point during that preview episode, where there was that light bulb moment of you realising about the Diamond League, I think you maybe pointed that out first, and then it's been picked up across a number of places, because I didn't hear it before then, and it has become a bit of a topic of conversation from over here and across other national championships around the world. So I'm going to give that to you. I know other people might claim it, but I think it's the realization of that as an extra wild card. I'm going to put that down to you.
And it does show that you should keep having selection dreams, because they're really helpful.
yeah. Just get obsessed.
But anyway, so you called it. I and also I would like to hold my hands up in our preview. I said, I wonder if Melissa Jefferson-Wooden can cope with all the pressure around her at trials. Will she perform? I'll shut up.
Well, no. I think it's probably a good point as well to talk about the fact that I don't think the attention was actually around her in the end at the US trials this weekend, because there has been a whole storm around Caudery Richardson. It's all been about her over the last few days, because she came into the champs. We didn't know about what had happened the week before. At the start of champs, she ran the 100, then pulled out. Then we heard that she'd been arrested following an incident in an airport with Christian Coleman. Footage showing her pushing Coleman a number of times, and I think into a wall at one point as well. Coleman was trying not to make a big deal out of it. And then Caudery then confirmed she will run the 200. And then she doesn't get through to the final, so she will not be at the World Championships. All this because Caudery already has the wild cards as the world champion for the 100, so she didn't really need to worry too much about it. But all this surrounding Caudery Richardson over the weekend meant that there was not as much attention on Melissa Jefferson-Wooden, because everyone was talking about someone else. I think that might have helped.
And I think everyone was talking about Noah Lyles as well. What was he going to do? I think there was a lot of tension on that men's race as well. So I think you're right. I think Jefferson-Wooden could just get on with it.
And actually, maybe she hasn't cut through yet in that way that, if, for example, you come to a US trials, if you're a big track fan and you want to see Noah Lyles maybe first because he is that Olympic superstar, you've heard of Caudery Richardson, and then maybe Jefferson-Wooden is still someone like emerging, and seems ridiculous to say it, but she's laying down times like that. I just wonder can anyone beat her now going into Tokyo?
Maybe Julian Alfred across one of the, I don't know. Yeah,
that's silence said it all.
Silence from Hannah, but Julian Alfred's probably the only one.
Yeah, and I think 200 the better shot as well.
Okay, well, how about Amy Hunt's chances then? So, her.
Sorry, just before we go on to Amy. Sorry, Katie, but what do we all make of the storm around Caudery Richardson?
I've only seen one thing. I haven't seen enough confirmed stories. So different sources. But I'm not sure.
Oh no! It's all confirmed. There's police reports, and Coleman's talked about it. So Coleman actually then finished the weekend by saying, she's a great person, we move on, these things happen, the kind of thing. That's me paraphrasing.
Yeah. Was this before? Was this on the way to the champs? Here. Was it on the way to the champs?
It was the week before, and the laws in the state, as I understand it, is that it's not about whether Coleman wanted to, follow this up. It's the fact that the laws are that if it's seen, then law enforcement has to make the arrest. Basically, that's around abuse generally in the US. So that's why it happened. But yeah, I think Coleman tried to sort of downplay it, not just this weekend, but also to the police last weekend. So it was there was just a lot of attention, a lot of discussion around it.
Yeah, it makes me a bit sad just because it is detracting from the stuff we really want to talk about. I think it's hard to ignore that there's been incidents with Caudery Richardson before at these sorts of points in the season, i.e. just before Tokyo when we found out of the positive cannabis test and she wasn't going to be able to compete. And again, I don't want to speculate on the reasons behind it, what might be going on, but all we can do is notice that there are these really sad patterns for such a talented athlete who showed us last year and the year before everything she is capable of. She's obviously struggled for form this season. I don't know, maybe that's a bit of a frustration around a US trials period where you know that you're not at your absolute best as well. So I just, I wish them both the best, because what a horrible experience to come into trials and then try and compete when that is all going on. It just makes you sad as a athletics fan, I think. Shall we talk about Amy Hunt?
Yes.
So her first British title in the 100, 11.02. She looked brilliant in the run, but wasn't pushed in the way we expected because of the false start from Daryl Neita. So a lot of people were saying they feel it's because her hair flicked onto her shoulder and set her off. I don't really buy that. Like, if you watch it, the hair goes down. I think any woman with long hair is very used to that feeling. I think it's happened to Daryl Neita many times before. It's not like she's ever not had her hair like that in the start. And her hair falls onto her shoulder. They're still waiting. Then she just twitches in the blocks. And again, you've alluded to it, Rich. I don't know if you two feel it's a little bit inconsistent, because I felt like in loads of the men's semis that we saw before that, they were all doing that and getting green cards.
It was chaotic, the sprints. It was dramatic. There were, I think, one of the semi-finals, there were 3 hamstring pulls in one race. It was a DQ at the start and then 3 hamstring pulls. Like, it was just wild. And I think it was just a bog standard false start. I don't think it was a hair malfunction. We'll see though. Yeah, you do see some athletes have experiences more in the field events where their hair has got in the way, and then that's it for the rest of their career. It's slick back, tiny bun, and they don't get. But I think it was just. I think Daryl Neita came here in very good shape and knew that to walk away happy, she had to nail the race, and I think that put pressure on her start. I think that's what happened. That she knew she could do something big. She went 11 dead in the semi, didn't she? So she probably knew she could go sub 11 if she got it right. And unfortunately, that's the fine lines.
Yeah, so it means Amy Hunt is confirmed in the 100, 200 for Tokyo. Daryl Neita not confirmed without the top 2 finishing either, but I think we'll probably be okay in terms of what she's achieved so far this season. Let's hear from Amy Hunt then. Rich caught up with her in the mixed zone after the win.
Okay, Amy, what quite the season. It's all pretty dreamy for you at the moment.
Yeah, for sure. We're definitely riding that wave, and just keeping the momentum. I think it's all a momentum game in sprinting, in terms of, like, when you feel like you're winning, you can be as delusional as you want. You just have to feel like you're winning and you're ahead. And we're building the races, we're building the rounds, and we're getting quicker and quicker. And that's all you can ask for, especially in a long season like this. I think we've paced it pretty well, and we've been really selective about the races we've been doing and what we're really targeting and trying to take away from each race.
Do you know what's funny is that a lot of sports people say that they don't believe in momentum, that
it's such a big thing. It's such a big thing, and even in terms of, like, for me, I love feeling like an underdog, and then when I'm picking up the wins, and it's just feeling like, like I can really bring it to these girls and they're not expecting it. Like, I love going into a race thinking, like, this person doesn't think I'm going to beat them, but I'm going to beat them. Like, that's my favourite.
Your consistency throughout the season means that there's actually starting to become a target on your back instead of you being the underdog. Are you ready for that change in mentality?
A little bit. I know it's weird actually being the British final and not being the youngest one. Like, there was loads of people younger than me. And yeah, it's definitely fun to start to be recognised and well known, and to start to become a threat for people. It's super exciting, and yeah, especially being able to be a threat across all disciplines and being a fully rounded sprinter. It's lots of fun.
And you've been such a success in the relays. But now you're going to be going to a global championship individually, really able to. I mean, it means a lot, right?
Did the standards.
I mean, it's huge.
I ticked all the boxes this year, so yeah, we're super happy after a lot of heartbreak last year. When I was at trials last year, there was a lot of tears behind the scenes. There was a lot of tears behind the scenes, and I was struggling a lot. So now to turn it around and be here, I just got to sit with it for a moment and be grateful to myself and proud. Yeah,
just lastly, the depth in women's sprinting at the moment is incredible. I mean, Melissa Jefferson-Wooden last night was insane, right?
Yeah, it's super hot, and it's so good to see, especially the new generation coming in with all of us. We're kind of similar ages, and Julian, and Yeah, it's and people are bringing such glamour and flair to it again, and it's making it cool and sexy, and it's what we want to see. We work really hard, and sometimes we just want to have more eyes on us, and it's really nice to see more personalities coming in, and a lot more globalization of the sport as well. We're seeing a lot more different countries kind of being represented on the major stages, so super hot.
Yeah, go and brush up on your Japanese.
Yes, for sure. Thank you.
Cheers.
So Amy Hunt there, interesting thoughts on Melissa Jefferson-Wooden as well. Says she's hot for the sport, which is, I think, a good thing. But she's just going from strength to strength, isn't she, Hunt? It just feels like after so many setbacks, and she's been talked about for so long, here she is. This might be her year.
I just think when you have young juniors that everyone gets excited about, and I think Amy Hunt is what you expect from a junior. It should take them 4 or 5 years to punch through to the senior ranks, and just like hats off to her for sticking with it. So I think there's so many athletes that would have gone, I haven't broken my 200 metre PB in 6 years. Like, what am I know she's had glimmers of hope, but like I think this was a real coming of age for Amy Hunt, just to nail it under pressure and take Dina Asher-Smith all the way to the line in that 200 as well. I think she deserves every bit of the kind of going there as an individual athlete for Tokyo is brilliant.
Zana Hughes on his way to Tokyo as well, won the 100 and the 200. 19.90 in the 200, eh?
I think that was his fastest time in a couple of years. So just a brilliant performance from Zana Hughes. I don't think a lot of people are talking about him globally.
Do you think he's under the radar?
I think in the US, the chat is often always about what the Americans are doing, and then maybe a few Jamaicans, and you sort of forget about the fact that there are some other people around the world who can really challenge. The 200, I think, is the one which is a lot more unpredictable. In terms of sometimes you can get a few that are flying under the radar who can then make the podium. I think that sometimes the 100, we know it's down to 4 or 5 that could do it, but the 200 is a bit more open. And I don't know, that was a statement performance from Hughes. I wonder whether anyone was watching outside of the UK for that performance, because it was, the conditions weren't incredible either.
That's it.
No, and the thing for me was on the Saturday watching the 100, where he seemed to be doing just enough to win. He had really stiff competition with Jeremiah Azu, but I looked at that final on Saturday, and thought he's going to really do something in the final, the 200 final. And then that's what I saw in that last 60, that last 50 of the 200. Zarnell Hughes just really, he was absolutely flat out, wanted to put on a show. And I love the weight that he puts on the British Championships, Zarnell Hughes. He doesn't live here, he doesn't train here, but it really means a lot to him every time he lines up.
Yeah, he really doesn't like the bad weather, and yet always seems to get...
It was okay though, wasn't it? I mean,
I
think on Sunday we were expecting it to be a lot worse, and I think rain was forecast for a lot. I think we got maybe a total of like 10 minutes of rain. Got the winds did keep getting up, and then it really died. But when you sort of felt like the rain was coming, but it was okay. I think it's a point that we've sort of made, I think, off air. The men's 200, the field isn't that deep at the moment, and that's... It's a bit of a shame. I actually spoke to Toby Harris after the 400. He came third. It doesn't have the World Athletics standard, and the event is strong enough so he can't get in. He's at the moment can't get into the British team individually for the 400. But he's spotted a hole here because the fact that the 200 isn't that deep. He thinks, actually, speaking quickly to the coach, he's going to try and chase down the World Athletics standard for the 200 because he's not far off it.
I think he's got the British Athletics standard.
He has.
And he's nearly got a ranking. Like, he only needs one or two decent races,
yeah.
and he could get in on the 200.
So he's spotted that opportunity. I think that basically sums.
You must have listened to my preview. That's not, hang on a minute.
That's not me. Like that, and that's not me degrading Toby Harris in any kind of way. But what I mean is he's seen an opportunity here, and maybe several others have as well, and they can see a chance, a path through to an individual.
There's no Mitchell Blake right now. There's no Adam Jamili, is there? So there does feel like there's a bit of a gap. Can we mention... Just whilst they're on Harry's, by the way, just wanted to mention, because just really quickly, go on.
We're not going to play his interview out on this podcast today, but he was talking up. He's a key member of the 4x4 squad, and he was talking up the chances of GB not just winning gold in Tokyo, but a new world record. And he's absolutely confident that GB can set a new 4x4 world record in Tokyo and beat the Americans. So
I like the sound of that.
yeah, very confident chat
Well,
from Toby Harris.
all of our interviews are up on our Instagram feed. So if you want to go and listen to them all and watch them all, they are there for you. One we're going to hear now, Jeremiah Azu. It was a bit bittersweet for him because he went in the 100, came second behind Hughes, so gets the spot for the British team, but he doesn't have the standard, but he thought he got the standard because he thought he'd gone sub 10, but then the win reading was a plus 2.2 in the end, and but it was sad because he was throwing his baby around.
It was really, it's really sad because in the stadium, he's so popular. Jeremiah Azu, the world and European indoor champion. You know, his profile has risen so much this year, and everyone was jumping around thinking he'd done it, you know, and in the mix zone, people looked so happy for him. Our CIS system, which is that's the results system that we have in a stadium, which is quite rapid. It's something we have accessible to the media. It didn't show the wind reading, so all we could see. Yeah, I don't know why it didn't show it, but it wasn't showing
I was
the wind
texting.
reading.
I was in our WhatsApp group.
Yeah,
swearing.
I was
and you're all going like, "Oh, you're swearing!" All these swear words just keep on like, it's like, and I was like, "What? What's happened? He's done it, hasn't he?" And so gutted for him.
Yeah. But actually, he was really positive. This was him chatting with Rich after.
How do you sum that all up?
I mean, I'm confident I can run it. I'm in a great place mentally, physically, spiritually. So just keep moving forward. I'm trusting God in every step of the way. Just keep it moving. I'm happy. Regardless, I'm happy. I'm finishing second to Zana, who's run really quick this year, so it's a good sign I'm able to mix it in with him. You know?
Yeah, the performances today really did show, didn't it? That you really can mix it. I mean, you progressed through the first round serenely. Yeah. You knew exactly what you're doing. You performing so close in that final to what you needed to do.
Yeah, man. I mean, today showed me that I was born for this, and that's just what I kept telling myself before the final. You're born for this. You don't need to overthink it. It's what you do. It's in your blood. It's natural. It comes natural to me, and I love the competitiveness. And it's in moments like this I see my true self, and it's great to have that because I think a lot of people would kill for it.
Well, the other thing as well is that a lot of people would be a lot down on what's just happened with the fact that you look like you had the time. But the way you're struggling up, but you have the time now. You put yourself in a great position because you've got the spot. The second spot is enough. Now you just need to go and run it.
Exactly, and I'm confident I can do that. So we just keep it moving. We'll make some plans. I was down to run the 200 tomorrow, but obviously we'll see. We'll speak with the coach, and so I'm going to need to go and race other places. So I was really looking forward to it because I want to start doubling up like at championships. So it would have been a good time to practice it. But we always change the plan. Plans never stick. You can never stick to a plan in the season, especially in athletics. So we just keep it moving.
And then finally, have you got a few lanes maybe somewhere?
I'm hoping. For a couple Diamond Leagues, so you know it's like a little bit of politics here and there. So.
Well, they could do the job for you. So congratulations today.
Thank you
very much. Hope you get it done.
Thank you so much.
Thanks.
So we don't know why I can't do this today. Jeremiah Azu then, so he's got 3 weeks to chase down a 10 flat or lower time to try and get that automatic guarantee that he's going to Tokyo with the British team. Right, let's talk about some field events then. And I think the standout performer by some distance, Hannah, Molly Caudery in the women's pole vault, 485 she goes over, a new outdoor world lead, and just looked really confident, happy and injury-free.
I mean, we had really good weather for the women's pole vault on Saturday. It was really nice and warm. And the pocket they do it at the Alexander Stadium in Birmingham is really nice up there on the top straight and on the top bend. And they just seem to be having a really good time. And for Molly Caudery to do 485, treat the home crowd to that outdoor world lead. You just want her to catch a break. I think, that world indoor title last year was phenomenal. And then it was just so sad to see her not convert that to an outdoor kind of championship performance. But you just feel like maybe going through something that bad, it kind of I don't know, but make her more resilient and just able to cope with anything now, I think.
I think so. And before we comment any further, why don't we hear from her? Because I think she makes some really interesting observations about that sort of motivation from where she was to where she is now. So this is her with Rich after winning the pole vault.
Molly, congratulations. World Outdoor Lead. I mean, it doesn't get much better than that. Sunny skies, home crowd.
Honestly, that was so much fun, and I think that always brings out the best in me. The crowd were great. The conditions were perfect. I mean, I'm so over the moon with how today went.
You feel like that's been coming?
Yeah, I think I've had quite a slow year. I've been dealing with a few really small injuries, and like my flow hasn't quite been there. But yeah, I went back to full approach today, and I think that was reflected in my jump. And to get back in the 80s and a set of outdoor world lead is just, it couldn't have gone better, really.
Sends a bit of a message as well.
Yeah, I think so. But more than anything, just for myself, like that's kind of what I needed. So whether it sends a message to other people or not, that's fine. But it's what I needed. So yeah.
You'll get asked this question a lot, but I mean, people talk about the narrative this being your sort of redemption year.
Yeah.
Do you look at it like that?
I mean, I think when I was coming into indoors, I was like, absolutely, and I was ready to jump something really big, and then again, I got a little bit injured, and it set me back, and then I got set back, and now I'm just like, I just want to jump, and I think that's such a great place to be, because all I want is my passion, and I'm doing it for all the right reasons. I would love to go to Tokyo and get a medal as well, but I'm just excited to see what's next.
Yeah, and Ewan was talking to you about the fact that you're quite close to that British record again, to beating that British record.
Yeah.
That's that sort of thing you just need to put to the back of your mind. That's not important right now.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't actually attempt it. I stopped after 485 today because I thought, done what I need to do. But next time I'm ready for it. I would love to jump the British record, and then actually the bar after that would be 5 metres, which is monumental. That's what we're looking for.
So just finally, next 6 weeks, how do you bottle this? How do you sort of try and find a balance between wrapping yourself up in cotton wool and peaking right at the right point?
Because I've not been able to compete loads, we do have, I think, 4 more competitions before Worlds, just to kind of solidify what I've done today, maybe try and get those bigger bars and just see what happens. Yeah.
Brilliant. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Great there for Molly. And it's so cool to hear her talking about 5 metres. I think the only 5 metre jumper we've got active at the moment is Sandy Morris, who's not done it, I think, since 2016. She won the US trials in 4:83, so she's in good shape. But just if we look at the next few Diamond Leagues, I'm not sure which ones have women's pole vault, but if they can get that bar at 5 metres and have a go at it, that would be really cool. I think they'll be excited about winning any of those events and those head-to-heads, but any time you get the bar up that high is really cool. And we had Emmanuel Karalis do a 6:08 as well. Did you see that? The Greek athlete, the pole vault, that was really exciting in the men's pole vault.
Can I just make the point as well that when Molly is doing something like this, in the depth of field is not as great in Great Britain, so she's having to do this all on her own. She's not being pushed by anyone else, so I think that makes it even more impressive. Do you? I guess other athletes might again respond differently. They can perform at their best when they are being challenged, and there's others around them who are of a similar standard. But having to do that all on her own, with all the attention on her, she's the only athlete left that's trying to clear that height. I think that does make it more impressive.
I just get the impression she's the kind of character that just doesn't ruffle her in any way. I think she responds well to competition, for sure. We've seen that, but I also think she's quite. Apart
from delays at the World Indoors.
Oh yeah, she got really, really mad about it.
So did most.
But then I do remember, I can't remember what the bar height was, but I was doing commentary on that, and she had to wait a good 25 minutes, and then she was so angry that I think her fury launched her an extra sort of 20 centimeters over the bar, which is quite cool. Just one final point though, I do think that mindset is so interesting. Hearing her talk there about being fueled by the disappointment of not making the Paris final last year had sort of fueled the start of this season, but now she's jumping with so much happiness. I think we saw that in Birmingham, and I think a happy Molly is quite a dangerous Molly Caudery going into World Champs.
No, definitely. I think when we talk about field eventers and like Morgan Lake to win 10 titles in a row in the women's high jump.
She didn't know. She didn't know. I made that point to her. She had no idea.
But that's what I think. Morgan, for me, when you talk about Molly Caudery going through that elation of winning World Indoors, the disappointment of not making the Paris final, like Morgan Lake should be the person she has on speed dial. Like that woman, she's been through so much. Like since she was one of these juniors, I just mentioned Amy Hunt. When everyone puts all this attention on them, that was Morgan Lake, and she was going to be the next Jessica Ennis-Hill. She was all this pressure on her, and it does weigh on her. You can see it weighs on her, but she's also seems to have grown into it and just accepted it. And she does, and she just plugs away. And I think she's having the best season that she's had in 5 years or so. Just that the consistency of the heights and the reliability of performances. Her average is just nudging up. And you said it to her, Rich, in the mix zone. Fourth in Budapest, and she's better than that right now.
Yeah, I think the consistency is really impressive. And talking about someone else that's gone through it a lot, Jasmine Sawyers, who's made her return this season from that ruptured Achilles, which ruled her out of the Paris Olympics. But really good sequence of jumps to win, to regain the title in Birmingham. And speaking to her afterwards, I think she's pretty shocked by how well this is going. She can't believe just how, because she's 1 centimetre off lifetime best form from jumping in Greece recently, which is incredible. And she basically cannot. She barely believes how this is going. And she said this was just build back year, and then we go again next year, and then we try and build again, long build to LA. But the way it's going, I mean, have you seen? You don't see recoveries from injury quite like this.
Not one like that. Like that's Achilles rupture is career ending in so many sports. And I think she's credited her team around her for supporting her and getting back to it. But it makes me think of when we had Christian Taylor on for his interview, and you have an injury like that, and it makes you go and reassess your whole technique, particularly in a technical event. And I wonder if that's what's happened here with Jazz. Like she's been able to iron out any sort of bad habits, any gremlins she had in her technique, by having to start from scratch, and that's why she's starting where she left off. Maybe there's some other elements there, and we are going to see her go out over 7 meters. She did it indoors exactly, but she can get really into that 7 meter club, and that could be great.
I think it's perspective as well. Having had that time out, she looks like she's having a fantastic time. I mean, it's on the other side of the stadium from where we are as well, so it's quite hard to get engaged with it, but she was really getting the crowd involved as well. So just loving her jumping.
And she does some cool videos on her social media, if you ever follow her, sort of breaking down some of her training, which I find so interesting, because often you see them long jump, but you wonder how they get to that point, and she'll tell you, today we're doing this on one leg and this is why, and I really like that sort of stuff. In terms of other field events that we want to mention, should we just go through a couple of names that are heading to Tokyo? So Lawrence Okoye and Nick Percy, I think, is going as well. Sorry, Hannah, you...
No, I'm a big fan of Nick Percy. So very, very happy to have seen his sort of steady progress over the last few years, and to get to Tokyo is awesome. And we were going to go, if you're staying in heavy throws, like Scott Lincoln winning his 720th British title. But Scott Lincoln was brilliant. He spoke to Rich in the mix zone. We've got it up on our social media about the coaching change. So for him to have been so consistent and successful, have the kind of motivation to want more and have the nerve to change things. But men's shot put this weekend, Joe Kovacs didn't make the US team. The top 3 miles over 22 meters, Kovacs over 22 as well, but he's out. Like that. That's mad. And then we had a world lead from Leonardo Fabri in the Italian Championships. Like that event's just gone mad this weekend, and
Joe Kovacs had the world lead before that, by the way.
And still no Ryan Krauser.
Who said he's going to do it. He said he's going to be there.
Thank goodness for all that wild card for him.
Oh, right? But that men's shot put in Tokyo, that could be one of the competitions of the championships. And I just hope, from a British perspective, Scott Lincoln can get into the final.
Which of us is doing commentary on that? Do we know? Obviously, you'll do. Hannah, you do the.
Have you referred to my spreadsheet? I think you'll find it's on the spreadsheet.
Oh, is it? Oh.
Yeah.
I can't say I look at it every day like you
do. One day at a time. When it comes to Tokyo, I think.
Yeah, okay, fine.
I think it's probably how we're looking at it.
Right, shall we?
Can I just mention? Sorry, to mention Katarina Johnson-Thompson quickly. So she was there.
Yes, I didn't really get to see much of her.
No, she was all business.
Right.
So she did 3 events. She did the 100 hurdles, shot put, and javelin. Actually, I think the order was hurdles, javelin, shot put. Season's best in all of them.
Nice.
So that's pretty much what she was aiming for, right? But didn't stop really in the mix zone. So really just wanted to get in and get out.
Do you think she was just watching how many points Anna Hall was racking up? That's what she was off to. Yeah, like that was impressive off Anna Hall.
Yeah, it really was. But she was. I mean, she really was all business. It was the full focus. Get in, get out.
I think that's quite good, though, isn't it? Yeah, I think that's vintage KJT. I'm going to do something in a couple of weeks.
Watch out.
Don't at me. Right, should we move up the distances? Shall we head back to the track? Because the men's 800 metres, oh my goodness. So Max Bergen doing Max Bergen things, running from the front. He went bold, books his spot, gets the win, had the time. Then we had 4 other men with the qualifying standard in the race. None of them managed to finish in the other top 2 spot. Ben Patterson was at the back of the field after a really good semi-final where he then said, I'm going to come in and upset the odds. No one expected me to be here. Shame to see that. Interesting what that now means. And then we had Crauken finishing 2nd, Botterill finishing 3rd. So how do we decipher selection in this one, Hannah England?
I like hats off to Alex Botterill. Like he's been there and thereabouts for so many years. He's coached by Steve Cram, and
he was watching it alongside me.
Oh, was he? Oh, if you get Crammy talking about Botch, like he knows what he's capable of, and for him, I think he would have loved to have been 2nd, but for him to get that 3rd spot is really important for him. Before I commit to who I think will make the team, I think the problem with Patterson, perhaps it was just the 2 races back to back.
It was too soon, wasn't it?
Yeah, and you can do one good race,
race,
but yeah, and that's what makes Amy Hunt's weekend so impressive.
But then you wonder, but then quickly you wonder whether Hannah should he have gone all out then in the round before, try to get the qualifying time, because then he would be in consideration for a discretionary spot. I mean, it's all hindsight, but I mean, like that's the one thing he had to do was get a time. So he could have got. I mean, because he did go through the gears closing stages in the previous race, and looked really good, and obviously completely cooked when it comes to the final. So he neither got the placing all the time.
But is he still? So say he gets something really great in the next 3 weeks, can find something. He's still in contention, isn't he?
No, he doesn't have. Well, yeah, maybe
he'd have to leapfrog. He'd have to run faster than
Yeah.
Justin Davis, who's in 4. You know, he'd have to run, and he could. He's physically capable. He'd have to go and run 1:43 now, I think, to kind of erase the head-to-heads that he suffered there by finishing last in the final.
Because remember, selectors are watching; they're there, you know. So I mean, if he'd done that time in front of them, I think that would have, instead of somewhere else in Europe, that would have been big for him. That could have really helped him. So even if he runs the time, the depth is so good that I'm not really sure.
Yeah. And I think if he didn't have this 3-week window, if no one had this 3-week window, then I think Ben Patterson might have really gone for it in the heat when the weather was better and you're fresher. But yeah, he would have backed himself to, because he felt so good in that. He would have backed himself to finish higher than that in the final, I think. So that's a real shame. It's not necessarily a surprise, but it's a massive shame. But yeah, Crauken, just that run in the last 50 metres. There was a lot of drama in the last sort of 40, 50 metres of a lot of the endurance races. And Tiernan Crauken, again, not a name many people will know. He's been over in the NCA system, doing very well over there. But he's just building those layers of good races and good seasons. So a great silver medal for him.
Yeah, it's really easy to brush over how good Bergen is.
I know.
We're talking about the other
shot.
bits.
That's the thing. He wasn't in shot.
Exactly. He was so far clear. So be excited for him.
Should we talk about a 16-year-old?
Oh my word,
Cooper Lutkenhaus
in the US trials.
So this guy, right? Get this, was not born when Usain Bolt won his first set of golds in Beijing. He was not on the planet, and now he has run a 1:42.27, breaks the world under-18 record, and is going to the World Championships. And have you watched the race? The storming run from, I think it's about 6th place, coming round the bend into the home straight, and then it basically almost beats Donovan Brazier as well. It blew my mind.
My first thought was is he definitely old enough to go?
I don't know. Yeah.
Like sometimes there's age limits on these things.
There has been some excitement around him for a while, though. I mean, there's some other times that he's been putting out there which have got people pretty hyped.
But I was watching. I want to find the video, Katie. I haven't. Maybe you can send it to me because I haven't been able to see it.
I found it on TikTok. I won't lie.
Yeah. Well, but what I did do, which I think is the height of sadness, is I watch it on the 100-meter splits come in on the results platform.
Oh no!
And Luke was sat the other side. I was like, oh no! Like Brandon Miller's gone with it. Brandon Miller's gone with Josh Hoey. It's not going to happen. It's not gonna, like he's gonna. Yeah.
Are you trying to commentate or see basically?
Yeah. Because I just loved. I didn't get to commentate this weekend. All right, you got to give me something. But Josh Hoey out of the top 3.
Yeah. Yeah, but the story would have been Donovan Brazier.
Exactly. This is like Max
world
Bergen.
champion. It's ridiculous, isn't it? Because his recovery from injury is just, it's just again so many stories.
Like a PB. He's a world champion, a former world champion, and he's just run a PB.
Who had a career-threatening injury.
If Ben Patterson needs to keep the faith and look at something positive, he should go and look at Donovan Brazier because that guy, you're right. It's easy. You look at the drama behind, and you forget how brilliant that was off Brazier.
But it was much more straightforward in the women's 8 back in Birmingham, where Georgia Hunter-Bell, we've spoken about it a lot. We've got her coming up as a guest on the podcast this week. But, the famous Georgia Hunter-Bell kick round the final bends, never really in trouble. It was pretty routine victory for her in the end.
Yeah, pretty dominant, like Max, another dominant winner in the 800. And Gemma Reekie got the job done in second as well. She was under a lot of pressure to get that second automatic spot, but got the job done. And then we're just going to have to sit and wait and see and hope that, Keely Hodgkinson's healthy and can compete well at the World Champs and that she gets that third spot.
And nothing new from Georgia in terms of new thoughts on the double. She needed to do this at the weekend to make it a possibility in theory. I know the Diamond League, not going to bring that back up again. It's funny, actually. I spoke to her in the mix zone and I actually felt like if she was going to choose at that point, if you had to make her do it then, she probably would go for 1 and she'd go for the 8. So I did ask her if you were to go for 1, which one now would you be going for? And she did say the 800 metres over the 15. I just think it's one of these situations, isn't it, Hannah? You've been in this place before where I think she's probably waking up with a different thought in her mind every morning.
I think so, and I think she's doing the right thing and just delaying that decision until she's absolutely got to. So towards the end of August, let a few more Diamond Leagues play out, and then make that decision, and hopefully it's an easy decision for her in the end. But we'll just have to wait and see, I guess.
Yeah, and she said she's going to take this moment to celebrate a bottle of red she got from training camp in Portugal. She was looking forward to enjoying. Saw her in Beaconsfield Services as well, tucking into a McDonald's. And
she did put her Mackie D's on her Instagram, so gotta recover well.
Loads of surprises in the men's 800. So what a race in the men's 800 at the US. Should we talk about the men's 1500 metres as well? Fairly straightforward if we're talking UK-wise in terms of Gourley and Giles. Both had the standard, came in the top 2. Little bit of argy-bargy, which you spoke to them about afterwards, Rich, didn't you?
Yeah, the pressure on those two because, full strength, we would have had George Mills and Jake Whiteman there as well. So you would have thought 2 from 4 for the automatic spots and then a discretionary spot as well. We'll come back to the discretionary spot in a minute, but Gourley won it ahead of Giles. But let's just hear from those elbows, that feisty finish. First of all, we'll hear from the winner, Neil Gourley.
Yeah, we're throwing some unnecessary elbows, I think, at the end there. I'm not sure why we went so far wide here, but 1500 metre racing, sometimes these things happen, and Elliot was quick to apologise for going so far wide, but these things happen. It's water under the bridge, really.
What did you say to Elliot? He's been very down talking to us about the whole situation.
Yeah, he was a bit embarrassed about the whole thing. I don't think he realised he went so far wide, and I just told him not to worry about it. Like, these things happen, he made a mistake, and the fact that he apologised is okay with me. Like, I'll not tell you what I said to him right at the line because it was heat of the moment stuff, and we don't need to repeat that, but you can guess the kind of words that came out.
There was contact, and I think then when me and Neil touched, because I definitely drifted, and I think we made more contact than I really drifted. So no, yeah, it definitely. I mean, watching it back, I didn't realise how bad it looked. And I watched it back, I was like, holy moly, that looks awful. If I'm honest, I can't really remember even what happened. I do remember contact, and I know that the contact was caused by myself. And yeah, I mean, on the screen it looks bad. I mean, me and Neil spoke out before. When you're in it, you don't realise it's as bad as it is. So yeah, no, I apologise to Neil profusely, and really doesn't look good on TV, that's for sure. I don't even really like doing his interviews because I'm going over stuff I don't really want to go over, if I'm being honest. It's awkward. I feel pressured into making comments that I'll probably change my view in the next 5 minutes. So what I say now, I think we should be taken with a pinch of salt because my opinion is probably likely to change. Now's heat of the moment. It's heat of what's sort of happened. I need to watch it back myself to see what happened. I can see you guys are clutching for me to say something that might get me in trouble. I don't really know. I'm going to have to watch it back.
A bit of a fuss about nothing, do you think?
I
Giles
think so.
was incredibly down about it. We were having to pick him up. He was saying how depressing an interview is becoming. So I was like, well, let's turn it into a positive. You're going to Tokyo, and he still brought it back down again. I think he just wasn't in the right mindset. I think he felt pretty bad.
He definitely didn't sound himself, Elliot, and I don't know. There is a lot of pressure. I think you say if you haven't got Jake Whiteman and George Mills on the start line, it might be an easier task. But there's also no room for error. Because if you're out of those top two, then one of those two is going to come and take your spot. And I think we just saw Giles being a bit desperate, and as so unfortunate. And that's what happens. Like, you're so motivated, you've trained so hard. It's instinct to drift. And yeah, I hope he's not beating himself up because that's not him.
Before we move on from the 15, Neil Gourley is convinced it's going to be Jake Whiteman who gets the discretionary spot over George Mills, who's the fastest Brit this year.
I mean, who knows? It's basically we need to get in the mindset of George Mills and look at that schedule and what he thinks his best shot at a medal is in Tokyo. Yeah, if he thinks 5K medal is where it's at, and that's where he's got to put his emotional energy and his physical energy, and that the 1500 doesn't play into that, then we could still see Jake Whiteman get selected. But that selection it's still got 3 weeks to go. So yeah, who knows?
Yeah, it wasn't quite the race I think we build it up to be. You know, when we did our preview, Jake Whiteman was still running, wasn't he? We weren't sure about George Mills, etc. So it kind of straightforward in terms of the result there, but that third place might be a bit interesting. Men's 1500 in the US, no room for error, as we talked about plenty the other day. Top three go through, and Yared Nuguse finished fifth, Hannah, so he's not going.
Or Hobchester there.
Yeah.
I know
Yes, good point. Yeah.
I think
Who said he'd ran the perfect race? He said it was much better than 2024 and still finished in fourth. So I do wonder sometimes these guys must come off the track and just think, like, I could not have done anything different.
I'm glad you picked up on that quote, Katie, because I thought it was interesting as well, because I think sometimes you can walk away and say, I've done all I can, and you can be at peace with it, but Kessler almost alluded to the fact, like, I've done everything I can and that wasn't enough. Like, that's upsetting. Like, it's not like I can go home and say, oh, I missed a couple of months with injury. I've got this thing I want to try in training. I can change something. Like, yeah, it just wasn't good enough. And
it just shows this ridiculous rate that this event seems to be moving at the moment. I hadn't realised we haven't, in the last 10 years, since 2015, no man has won a major title in the men's 1500 metre twice. Like, we've had a different champion at every single one. And you see it moving on. Like, for example, Josh Kerr wins it in 2023 at the Worlds, probably runs better in Paris, but is a silver medalist. Make it make sense.
Well, Nuguse, heart goes out to, depth. Yeah.
What's happening? Sorry, Nuguse, just quickly on, he's getting into a habit, isn't he, of having to set the pace and do all the work.
Yeah.
And it paid.
It's really hard because if that's your comfort zone, if you like to lead and you're not afraid of it, and you kind of think, well, make that into my super strength. I'll just lead and everyone can worry about me and everyone can look at me. But yeah, he couldn't hold it together, and they ran quite hard in the heats as well. And I didn't understand Cole Hocker coming third until he goes gun to tape in the 5K. A couple of days. I was like, why is Cole Hocker third? Like, this makes no sense. Like, and he was saying things like, oh, that was the easiest 3:30 I've ever done. Like, it felt great. And I was like, well, why didn't you kick for the win? And then I remember that he's actually he's not just in the 5K as a backup. He's actually trying to make that team, and he does it. He beats Grant Fisher in the 5K. So I think that's a really important weekend from Cole Hocker.
Yeah, I think really impressive as well, because I don't think the 5K's really stuck for Hocker. He's been really going for it, but it hasn't really worked out. But yeah, beating Grant Fisher and Nico Young. Yeah.
Does Cole Hocker have a qualifying time?
Hannah, you can't just throw these sort of things out in the middle of a podcast.
Sorry.
And then expecting us to be like, off the top of my head, Hannah, absolutely, I know exactly what
While
what I'm
Rich
talking
Googles
about.
that, we haven't actually mentioned who won the 15, which was Jonah Koech. And Strand goes along with him and Hocker as well, don't they? So
Hocker has the standard. Yes, he does.
There we go.
I love that he does. Yeah. No, what I loved...
He had it from indoors.
What I loved, so as we said before, Citius Mag do loads on the US scene. I love them saying, every year you'd look at the NCA guys and say they're going to punch through onto the US team. Like, that's just what happens because of the breeding ground of NCAs. And they were saying, oh this year it's not going to happen because the pros are too strong. And then it happens again. Ethan Strand's just like, no, like I can do this. I like that for sort of consistency in the American domestic scene. But yeah, can't believe Hocker and can't believe Jared Naguse and Hobbs Kessler aren't on the team. It's madness.
Well, we mentioned Josh Kerr. He was in action in Birmingham this weekend, not in the 15, so he didn't have to run that, already selected. Went for the 5,000 metres, won that fairly comfortably, and he was talking about... Was he talking to you about this, Rich, or did I read quotes that he was sort of doing a bit of a training plan within the race of kind of pushing that final mile, wasn't he? Anyway, he spoke to you. Let's hear from him. So 3 years ago, he was competing in the Alexander Stadium, 12th at the Commonwealth Games. So how different an athlete does he feel like he is now?
I think I'm more well-rounded in the way that I approach competition with the team of people that I have around me. I'm very lucky to be supported the way that I am, and it's taken many years to get to that spot. So I'm feeling a little bit more mature, hopefully getting some more things going that way.
I know you'll be looking at what's happened at the US Champs overnight, and no Jared Naguse and no Hobbs Kessler either making the championships. Jakob's been injured as well. You're in the driving seat right now, aren't you?
Yeah, I think, from 2023, I feel like I've been in the driving seat every year, but it's not about that. It's, well, how can I execute over the next 6-7 weeks and make sure that I'm dotting every I and crossing every T. The sport is very difficult, and I'm just keeping my head on straight and focusing on what's important, which is consistent training and getting ready for those big races.
You said you're going to be sticking around to watch the 1500. Who's your money on to win?
Oh, I don't have any money left after all the Grand Slam money not coming in. No, I'm just joking. The guys with the standard look good, but it's an open race. I think obviously the Scottish roots want Neil to come through, but I don't envy selection. I'll say that.
Sorry, in all seriousness, Josh, the Grand Slam track money. I mean, what is the update with that, and when do you start to get a bit more frustrated about it?
Look, I think what's been highlighted in this situation, everyone's like, when's money coming through and this and that, and for me, you'll go back in any of my interviews, I've never spoken about the money. I've said, look, this competition should be as important as the 4 majors in golf, the 4 majors in tennis. Like, this is the actual championships that should be more important than the money that's coming in. No one talks about that at tennis, at golf, these other things. So look, I don't care. I think the money will come in. I think it would, even if the money came in today, it'd be the quickest I've ever been paid from a championship. So I'm not particularly worried about that. I'm here, I'm back in my league, and I think when the money's ready for us to get, we'll get it. And everyone that's waiting on it, I understand the frustrations. I'm in a lucky position where I'm not waiting on it, but I get the frustrations. But look, everyone's trying their hardest. It's a new league, and everyone should back it until it gets a little bit too long. For me, it's not been that long, and I'm going to be patient myself. I can't speak for anyone else, but that league is doing something that we're all really, really trying to push the sport on. Let's keep doing it.
As the face, or one of the faces of Grand Slam track, do you believe him?
I believe him on the timeline thing. I think there are a lot of athletes saying this, like, it is not normal to get paid as fast as Grand Slam track say. I know they committed to that in their contracts, but it's just industry norm is not to get paid that quickly. But like, hats off to Josh for at least bringing it up. Like, I think he was pretty honest in his answer there.
I love that you followed up, Rich, because I'm pretty sure they'd said to you, like, with, final question.
Yeah,
good that you picked up, but
he
clearly wanted to talk about it, right? Because he gave you a really long, detailed answer. What I did think was really prominent there was he was talking about, like, we all need to be backing this sort of project if it's about moving the sport on.
He's absolutely right about that.
Yeah, and I couldn't really argue with him there. Yeah, so yeah.
Yeah, I think there's a lot. I think it's going to be interesting to see what happens over the next few weeks. I think there's a statement came out about something to do with an investor, blah, 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 Grand Slam tracks. I heard lots of these things before. Because on the eve of the US Champs, we heard Grant Fisher talking about the fact that it's going to get to a point where people in the next few days are going to start to get a bit angry. So let's just watch this space.
Well, it's one of these things. I was looking at Gabby Thomas talking about dealing with this Achilles injury. And then you go, well, you raced a whole lot for Grand Slam track that you haven't been paid for. I don't know, if I was her, I'd be sitting there thinking, is this why I'm struggling now? Because I forced myself into a league that, I thought was going to be very lucrative. I don't know. Maybe that's me being too negative, but I'd be sitting there thinking, and I was wondering that with Bednarek as well, because he had to skip a few races. Again, you're just like, these athletes are putting their energy in certain places, and if you don't get paid for it, like that's when it gets really angry. I think that's when people get really angry.
Can we talk about our favourite pathetic rivalry in athletics right now?
Oh my goodness.
Am I being too harsh? Is it less than pathetic? Better than pathetic? Or
Let's set the scene, shall we? So we know what happened.
Men's 200 metres final at the US Trials. Lyles against Bednarek, and Lyles wins. Then, so does he cross into his path?
No, he just looks ahead.
He looks back, doesn't he?
But also, just bear in mind how far back Lyles had to come to win this as well in that final straight.
Yeah. He did a proper Amy Hunt and then really pushed through to the end. And I've forgotten his time. It was a world lead though, wasn't it?
1963, something like that.
63, wowzer.
Yeah.
And then Bednarek gives him a little shove in the back, doesn't he? Afterwards, but no words are actually exchanged, are they? It's just a really great Noah Lyles stare. Oh, do they say something to each other?
They start talking to each other, yeah. So the interview.
I've explained that.
Yeah, so they went to the infield interview, and they're still
bickering.
debating. Yeah, bickering is the word, Katie.
Amazing.
Bickering.
Yeah, I don't know. It's interesting. Their mix zone. Afterwards, Lyles said, no comment. Coach said no comment. Whereas Kenny is saying, I don't like that unsportsmanlike swear word. Says the man who then retaliated by pushing him. You can't really, I don't think you can really start making those kind of comments if you're going to then retaliate that kind of way. Probably could have been a bit classier with his response. Clearly, there's some beef there.
Do you know what? I read this morning that I'd never seen before? That there's this. This is such a geeky, gossipy thing. There's this X account called Track Spice that talks trash about athletes, and everyone was saying, because it was Bednarek. Like, he was running that Twitter account with his girlfriend. That's what I read this morning, and that's where this has all started from.
Is that it?
No, I think that makes sense. This Twitter account said it said nasty stuff about Noah Lyles and his wife now. Yeah,
is this the Wagatha Christie moment of athletics?
Yeah.
It was Kenny.
Yeah, I don't know. I read that this morning. I was like, well, that all makes sense. If there's this, if they've been trash talking online,
if that's true. Well, I just think it. I think why I think it's a little bit pathetic is that when Lyles looks across. He sort of runs away, ignores everything that Bednarek is saying to him, turns around, looks suddenly like a frightened rabbit, because then he's like, Lyles, it feels like he thinks he can get away with doing this kind of stuff without any repercussions. And when someone comes back at him, he's kind of shocked. And, if you're going to give it, you have to take it. But then what I didn't like about Kenny is then the push, it's just so unnecessary. Like, it's really good. Like, there's a part of me is like, this is really good fun, and there's a part of me that's a bit like, it's a bit stupid. So I wish it was a bit more clever. Do you know what I mean? I wish it was just a bit smarter. We're watching in the UK, watching this England-India Test series at the moment, right, in the cricket. So Americans got no idea what we're talking about here, crossing over. But it's like just the right level of niggle, right? Yeah. The needle is so good because there's no physicality in it. It's just them really getting up in each other's faces, and just when the line is about to be crossed, it stops.
We call it
I love that.
slating. They call it slating in cricket. For anyone that doesn't know cricket,
absolutely love it. Like,
so
and
if you
that's
imagine
really
a cricket, if anyone knows a cricket pitch, you've got like the wicket keeper, like everyone's on board,